Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksharan Mritam Vena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone. Today morning discussion and reading from the book titled as Sri Isho Upanishad. We are on the text 12, Sambhutim, Asambhutim, worship. Whom should be worshipped is the next subject matter. Andham tama pravishanti ye asambhutim upasate tato bhuya evate tamo yayu sambhutyam rataha. Andham tama pravishanti ye asambhutim upasate tato bhuya evate tamo yayu sambhutyam rataha. Andham tama pravishanti ye sambhutim upasate tato bhuya evate tamo yayu sambhutyam rataha. What meaning? Andham, ignorance. Tamaha, darkness. Pravishanti, do enter. Do enter into. Ye, those. Asambhutim, demigods. Upasate, do worship. Tataha, more than that. Bhuya, again. Eva, like that. Te, who. Tamaha, darkness. Ye, those. You, also. Sambhutyam, and the absolute. Rataha, engaged. Sambhuti means, you can call it spiritual. Asambhuti, you can call it perishable, imperishable in that way. Sambhuti, asambhuti. So if sambhuti is imperishable, eternal, asambhuti means perishable. So there, asambhuti, what has been addressed as demigods. Why? Because they're also living entities. They may have a long span, but at the end of the day, they'll also die. Now, verse says, you enter into darkness if you worship devatas. You enter into greater darkness if you worship the absolute truth. Contradictory? No, good boy. So now you understand what it means because you're reading Prabhupada. So what it means is, if one worships the impersonal feature of the Lord, then it is, which means merging with the Lord. That's said to be put into a darker regions of hell. Now, darker regions of hell doesn't mean he stays in this world. Definitely, he goes beyond this world. He gets a moksha. But because he merges, he dilutes his identity with that issue, now he has lost his true nature, which is considered worse than a hell. You're getting the comparison? That's how the verse has been spoken. All right, let's take a look at the translation and then purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation: those who are engaged in the worship of demigods enter into the darkest region of ignorance, and still more so do the worshippers of the Absolute. Absolute exists in three forms or three levels: Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagwaneti, Shabdyate. The Brahman, let's take a look at that, is what is said. You can close the door. No sound coming. Purport. The Sanskrit word asambhuti means those who have no independent existence. Sambhuti means swarat. Asambhuti means dependent. Well, again, perishable, imperishable. Sambhuti is the absolute personality Godhead, who is absolutely independent of everything. In the Bhagavad Gita, the absolute personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, positively describes himself in the following words: I am the supreme cause of the powers delegated to the demigods, the great sages and the mystics. And because these are endowed with limited powers, it is very difficult for them to know how I appear myself by my internal potency in the form of a man. Hare Krishna. Which verse of Bhagavad Gita is this? Such an important verse. All right. Make a guess. Verse number is difficult. Which chapter? Prabhupada said we should study Bhagavad Gita as a law book, which means you should have the reference quotation quickly. Huh? लिखा है 10.2? लिखा है? Oh, this is cheating, man. न्यू बुक में लिखा हुआ है? पहले बोलना था ना? मैं तुम लोग जीके चैप कर रहा था ऐसी फालतू में. ओके ओके, ठीक है. तभी सोचो यार ये 10.2 कैसे बोल दिया तुम लोगों ने? तो इतना आसान ही था. ठीक है. All right. Sorry. Yeah, take my question back. Answer was already given. I have an old book, तो वहाँ लिखा नहीं हुआ था. Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay. कोट द श्लोका नाउ. ये तो पूछ सकता हूँ मैं. ये भी लिखा हुआ है? ओह ठीक है. ओके, ऑल राइट, लीव इट. आई नॉट आस्क दैट. ऑलराइट, ओके, बोलो क्या लिखा है श्लोका? नामे सुरगना ओंती अहम आदिर्हि देवानाम. I am the source. Aham adirhi devanam. And the last line? Mahashihi. Mahashi ma sarvasaha. Cha sarvasaha. Name vidu suraganaha. And the second line? Prabhavam naha maharshi. कहने का मतलब नामे vidu suraganaha. Vidu means to know. Suraganaha means devatas. I am not known by the devatas. Name vidu suragana. Prabhavam na maharshi. Na. That's what Prabhavam na. Prabhavam means they also don't know. Prabhavam means jana, na maharshi. Even they don't know me like that. Why? Aham adirhi devanam. I am the source of deva and maharshi. That's the last line. All right. Next paragraph. So these are the three levels of realization of the absolute truth. And now we go to the, that's the point is made. Okay, so Devtas and Suras, Rishis cannot know. Next paragraph, now Prabhupada writes, all philosophers, Rishis, mystics try to distinguish the absolute from the relative by their tiny brain. However, this can only help them to reach the point of negating relativity, without realizing any positive trace of the absolute. Definition of the absolute by negation is not a complete concept. Such negative definitions lead one to create a concept of his own, and one then imagines that the absolute must be formless and without qualities. But these negations are simply the opposite numbers of the relative forms and qualities, and are themselves therefore relative. By such a concept of the absolute, one can at most reach to the impersonal reflections of God known as Brahman, but one cannot make further progress to the stage of Bhagwan, personality of Godhead. Who understood the paragraph? Would anyone like to explain what is Prabhupada indicating here? We're reading the second paragraph. What is Prabhupada meant by saying at on the strength of your tiny brain power, at max, you can come to the understanding of negation. You can negate certain thing which can bring you up to some partial realization, but not complete. What does it mean? Give an example. Just don't paraphrase in Hindi or reword it in English. You know, what does it mean? आपने ये पढ़ा अभी, क्या समझा? Anyone? Mother Yagya, go ahead, your hand is up.
Dhanvat Pranam Prabhuji. Prabhuji, in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna, he says that until unless he removes the curtains of illusion, nobody can understand him. There are many people who even take Lord Krishna into the wrong interpretation. So until he removes it, or he reveals.
Yeah, that's that. But what does it? Okay, let me put it more clearly. What I propose saying, by your tiny brain power, you can come to certain understanding only, and that propose says you can only help them to reach the point of negating relativity without realizing any positive trace of the absolute. Explain this line. Yes, Pranjal Prabhu.
So,
Mike.
So Lord is above our senses, is beyond our senses, and He is in Param Vyoma, He is in the spiritual sky. So by negating, we know this is not God, this is not God, this is not God, but we don't know the ultimate reality that we have to gain from someone. So we can say this is not, this is not, this is not. But what is that? So we can reach up to light. This is not, so some light is there at last. But uske baad knowledge to koi, any person who is above these material four defects, he can let us know the ultimate knowledge.
That second part is clear.
Yeah.
We need to know from the right source. That is clear. I'm just trying to focus on this point. This can only help them to reach the point of negating relativity without realizing positive trace. You're in the right direction. Just focus on this. And that's how Prabhupada has made this whole paragraph onto that. What is a negation of the complete concept? Or what can you come? You're in the right direction. Right direction. Okay. All right. Long story short here. So what it means is those point is an individual trying to understand the existence of the Lord on his tiny brain power. His conclusion would be what the conclusion the Abrahamic faith has today. That's it. The Lord has to be formless because I have a form and my form is temporary. He cannot have a form because then he also becomes temporary. Then he has to be formless. So this whole concept of idol worship, deity worship, etc., the concept has been created. This whole philosophy that they have created, or even in fact in ours, Mayavad, what we call it as. So naiti. This is not there, this is not there, this is not there, this is not there, this is not there. What is there? Only Brahman. What do you come to? Only Brahman. But that is the beginning point. So you cannot understand by our tiny brain power. That's the point Prabhupada is making here. And that is what Sambhutim. So those who does so, they are the one who are put into darker regions of ignorance. Such negative definitions lead one to create a concept of his own. And one then imagines that the absolute must be formless and without. Got it? Must be formless and without qualities. By such a concept, one can at most reach to the impersonal effulgence of God, like Pranjal was saying, up to Brahman, like that. All right, next paragraph. Such mental speculators do not know Krishna is the absolute personality of Godhead. You might have seen, I don't know how much you remember, if you see sometimes pictures of Krishna, drawn by local artists, at times they'll show him standing by himself in Vrindavan. Even in fact, we had one photo of in our Srimad Bhagavatam, I believe it's still there, the print has not been changed, where this 4 Kumara incident happens. So Vishnu is standing by himself. which is not. Bhagavatam clearly says when Vishnu came, his associates were also there. So this whole idea, the God is all alone, is a concoction. So, again, you might have seen photos of Lord, they don't show associates. It looks like हमारे पास ही सब कुछ है, वहां बेचारे वो अकेले बैठे हैं. If you remember seeing the photos from childhood, Lord would always be standing alone. Who does anyone knew about Parshad? It took such a leap of faith for us to understand the Lord has family members, Lord has friends, Lord has relatives. Even if you talk about Lord Ram, Lord Krishna, whatever. Oh, when they come here, they have it here because we have it, so they have it. But when they are there, they're all alone. They are judged by themselves. No, that's the point here. Such matters where we do not know that Krishna's absolute personality, the impersonal Brahman is the glaring effulgence of his transcendental body, while Paramatman, the super soul, is his all-pervading representation, 3 levels of realization. They do not know that Krishna has his eternal form with transcendental qualities of eternal bliss and knowledge. The dependent demigods and great sages imperfectly realize him as one of the powerful demigods, but they consider the Brahman effulgence as the ultimate absolute truth. Krishna's devotees, however, who by dint of their unalloyed devotion surrender unto him, can know that he is the absolute person and that everything emanates from him only. Such devotees continuously render loving service unto Krishna, the fountainhead of everything. Just think about it for a second. There are a group of people who are reading scriptures, who are living a sattvic life, who are performing austerities as given in the scriptures. Their goal is to go beyond this world. But their understanding is the absolute is Brahman, effulgence. And my goal is to merge into him. Here we have another class of spiritualists who also want to go beyond this material sky and whose goal is to become part of the Leela of the Lord, where we take part in his pastimes. And both apparently are reading the same scriptures. Don't you think they read Bhagavad Gita? They also read Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is the foundational book for everyone. Everyone reads it. They also read Bhagavad Gita. But such a drastic difference between the goals. Why? Why such a drastic difference? Why such a... Chalo, commentary ho gayi. Imagine you give him a proper Bhagavad Gita. They will not accept. Why such a drastic difference? You think they're walking the same path. For an outsider, it looks like both are same. If a Mayavadi sannyasi is sitting here, our sannyasi is sitting. For outsiders, both sannyasi. Both are following the Vedic culture, Vedic scriptures. He'll also do his Gayatri, our sannyasi will also do Gayatri, our sannyasi will do worship, that sannyasi will also do worship. They'll also offer anything cooked only by Brahmana. In fact, their standards are more higher in terms of Suchi, cleanliness standards. At least their understanding of that. I'm not saying our standards are low, but I mean to say, they make this discrimination, or not discrimination, but they have this, kiske haath ka khaya nahi khaya. They have that, Our understanding in that regard is different. Then if you're walking the same path, 2 different goals. And even if you try to give them a book, help them understand, they'll not understand. They'll not come here. They'll say, no, this. So, any thoughts on it? Why? It's a very simple question I'm asking. Very simple question. Yes, Madhusudha, your hand is up.
They don't have proper
wait a second.
guidance.
I need to get my speaker on. Yes.
They do not have proper guidance, Prabhuji.
अरे वो सोचते हैं वो आपको गाइडेंस दे देंगे. They don't have proper guidance. It's okay. I mean, you try to get them a guidance also, they will not take a guidance. What else? Your point is correct. They're misguided from our perspective. And if this question was discussed in that forum, they'll say about us, they don't have right guidance. They'll tell us to be misguided. Okay. Yes, Mother Jyoti or Deshdeepa Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, is it that due to envy, they do not accept the personal feature of the Lord and they are unable to surrender?
Very nice. Envy, Prabhupada mentions that, correct? Envy. The deep-rooted envy. Okay, so envy, which means even if you have reached beyond the material sky, your envy has not gone. Because of that envy only, you are not accepting the Lord, not willing to surrender. Okay, very good point. Valid. So although they are worshipping the absolute, that is what this verse says. Andam tava pravishanti ye asambhutim upasate. But what about tato bhuya ivate tamo? Yayu sambhutam vataha. Those who worship the absolute, they are put in more darkness. Because somebody is worshipping devatas, you still can talk to him, have a discussion, help him understand. But one who says, I am also chanting Om Namo Narayana Namaha. But what is the destination? To become Narayana. Merge into him. To help them understand and to bring them out from there that is what this verse is highlighting. So envy. Okay. Varun Prabhu, what else?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I was also going to say envy only. Only thing is that, I think that envy is not something which they consciously are aware of. That is deeply ingrained. They are not knowing. If someone is eating non-veg from childhood, they will not think that eating non-veg is bad unless, some very big transformation happens. So something like that is deeply ingrained, deeply rooted in their psyche, that they think that whatever they are doing is correct.
But our spiritual practice should purify our envy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Unless some big transformation happens, someone
which means their practice is also not capable to purify of envy.
Correct, yes.
Okay, TK, envy. What else could potentially be the point? Yes, Dhananjay Prabhu. We have to have a mic. Okay, Madhu Sudana Purushottam Prabhu. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes.
They don't want to surrender.
They don't want to surrender. Okay, I'm just going to ask a question for that. In case of, let's say, you accept a guru in this Mayavad Parampara also, and a disciple really serves humbly the Guru Maharaj. When you can serve a man, why can't you serve God?
Because they are thinking that they are good.
Okay, so the one who joins there, the idea is, okay,
they want to become God.
Right now I'm down the line of the hierarchy. If I accept all this thing, over a period of time, I'll get promotion. I'll become promoted to the post of Narayana, CEO, the supreme controller, enjoyer, and owner. Okay.
Yes,
so they don't want to surrender. They don't want to surrender. Fine, they don't want to surrender. We can say that one way, but apparently the process itself is a surrender. But the process demands surrender. All through the process, you have to follow brahmacharya all through their life. The process demands surrender, but okay, valid point. Yeah, you're saying something? Again, I want to reiterate, they don't want to burn on the Lord, and here they don't want to take part in the Leela of the Lord. These are two distinctive things, realities. And both are of the Lord only. So my point is, why would someone not want to take part in the Leela of the Lord rather than Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti? I've given you enough clue now. All of you are saying is correct. It's a correct answer. Yes.
Prabhuji,
Wait. Yes.
It will require, means even if you so-called exalted, but there is one verse like, Brahmanda Brahmite, Kono Bhagyavana Jeev, Guru Krishna Kripa Pai, Bhakti Lata Bij.
Okay.
So it requires Lord's as well as pure devotees' mercy to get that.
No, we are not talking about a solution right now.
Okay.
That is okay. That is understood part. My question is, why would not do it? Why would not? इतने सारे हाथ उड़ गए अभी क्या हुआ? Okay, for Agnil, Vittal, whoever. Go ahead. Then we come to Abhishek.
Like they are frustrated in the material world because of their relationship.
You're getting close. So they are frustrated in the material world, and you're saying frustrated, so that's not a big deal.
Relationship.
They have had such a bad experience. Prabhupada quotes, writes this point in the 4th chapter, verse number 11. Not verse number 11, sorry. Janma Karma Chamedivam 4.9. 4.9 Prabhupada gives. What's the thing with them? दूध का जला छाछ भी फूक फूक के पीता है. You know, which means they've had such a bad experience of relationship in this world. They don't want to have any relationship with anyone. They don't have any relationship. So they just don't want to. So their idea of taking to spiritual life is Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And those of you who have joined Krishna consciousness, Om, now you can say what you have to say ahead. There is no Shanti. There is Om, adventure, adventure, adventure. Every day is an adventure, every day is a struggle, every day is a battle. Not struggle, battle for our existence, for the service of the Lord. To come together, stay together, serve together is a big thing. To become the boss of the house by yourself. For example, just a simple thing. Imagine you're given a room by yourself. How many of you feel excited if you're given a room by yourself? Haji Mishra ji? If you're given a room by yourself, you have your dedicated room. How many of you feel excited? I'm not asking this largely to the boys here. How many of you feel excited if I have my own room? I am the boss of the room. How many of you feel excited about it? Huh? Forget about financial contributions right now. forget about financial contributions now. With whatever contribution you are doing right now, imagine you get a dedicated room for yourself. How many feel ye dil mange more? I want this. Raise your hand now. So you guys are frustrated. You're frustrated beings. That's what my thing. I'm not. You may have your need. I'm not saying that. But the point I'm making is because they're frustrated staying with somebody. Because when you come together, you have a conflict. Somebody कहता है पंखा खोलो, वो दूसरा बोलता है ठंडी लग रही है. दूसरा कहता है क्लीनिंग करो, दूसरा बोलता है तू क्लीनिंग कर. Cleaning issues, fan issues, so many issues happen. So such people frustrated by the relationship says, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. और हमारा काम है आपके जीवन में अशांति अशांति अशांति, which means no single room. सब रहेंगे, शेयरिंग में रहेंगे. अभी तुम आ जाके अकेले रूम में थोड़ा बैठेगा. You have to serve together, so therefore you have to learn to cooperate. Why we created a system like this? I always ask MBA students when I give class. मैं कहता तुम यार MBA करो, तुम्हें पता है तुम्हारा schedule ऐसा क्यों है? If any one of you is an MBA graduate or if you know about MBA, your engineering schedule is very fixed. 9 to 5, 9 to 3, done. MBA में कभी बुलाते हैं? Anyways, you're not MBA students, I'm not going to answer that why they do that, but that's the point. So why we have it? So we should try to stay together, because there is a deep-rooted Mayavadi conception within us. We were like, okay, I don't need anyone. And extremely dangerous for a brahmachari to stay alone. Extremely dangerous for him. They should have a sharing room, sharing facility. Things should be done together. If you cannot learn to deal with devotees here, what would you do there? So it's very, therefore learn to cooperate, learn to bow down, be humble, and learn the art of living together. All right. And those who demand the most, unfortunately, are the ones who are least sensitive of others. Those who demand the most or complain the most, unfortunately, are the same people who are least sensitive to others' needs. When they come inside, they'll switch on the light. But when somebody else switches on the light when they're sleeping, they'll make you and cry. They don't think about that time. Arey yaar, when I am affected, when I'm sleeping, why should I switch on the light when somebody is sleeping? Sometimes when I walk around at 9:30 and I see somebody is sleeping, and the other fellow is switching on the light, वो laptop बैठ के कुछ भी कर रहा है. I say, yeah, if devotee is sleeping, there's not a time now. What are you doing on the laptop? Why don't you come and sit outside? You see that? I mean, we don't have this much sense also. If somebody has taken rest, you could be tired. Can't you be saying, Prabhuji, mera bahut important kaam chalo? That's okay. If not, maybe just sitting idling around. Can't you come and outside? We have a hall. So this is big. So Mayavad is not somewhere outside. Are we sensitive? Are we conscious of the needs of others, or only we demanding for ourselves? This is all Mayavadi symptoms. All right. Let's go to the next paragraph. I believe this is clear about here. Krishna, how it into another direction. Okay. Okay, next paragraph. Somebody like to read online the next paragraph? Oh, Krishna Chandrapu, long time no see.
Hare Krishna,
Please go
Prabhu.
ahead.
In the Bhagavad Gita, it is also said that only bewildered persons, driven by a strong desire for sense gratification, worship the demigods for the satisfaction of temporary problems. A temporary relief from a certain difficulty by the grace of some demigod is the demand of less intelligent persons. The living being is in the material entanglement, and he has to be relieved from material bondage entirely to obtain permanent relief on the spiritual plane, where eternal bliss, life, and knowledge exists. Continue, Prabhu.
So, karma is the hit, jnana. So, demigod worship is what Prabhupada discussed here. And now in the next paragraph of the speak, so those who worship Yanti Deva, Vrata Devan, that's a verse Prabhupada explains in the next paragraph. Yes, Prabhuji, continue.
In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that the worshippers of the demigods can go to the planets of the respective demigods. The moon worshippers can go to the moon, the sun worshippers can go to the planet of the sun, and so on. Modern scientists are now trying to go to the moon with the help of rockets, which is not really a new attempt. The human being, with his advanced consciousness, is naturally inclined to travel in outer space and to reach other planets, either by Sputniks, by mystic powers, or by worshipping the particular predominating deity on that planet. In the Vedic scriptures, it is said that one can reach other planets in any of the ways mentioned above, most generally by worshipping the demigod presiding over the particular planet. But these planets are temporary residential places. The only permanent planets are the Vaikuntha Lokas, found in the spiritual sky, where the personality of Godhead dominates. The Bhagavad Gita confirms this as follows. Even though one may rise to the highest planet, Brahma Loka, when one has to come back again. But if someone attains to me in the spiritual world, he doesn't have to take birth again.
Continue. This was the subject matter of 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Demigod worship, why they worship, and if they worship, where they go. Please continue now.
The ISOPANISHAD suggests that one remains in the darkest region by hovering over the material planets. Whatever his means may be, the whole universe is covered by the gigantic material and elements, just like a coconut ball half filled with water. As it is airtight and fully covered, the darkness within is dense, and therefore planets like the sun and the moon are required to illuminate the inside of the universe. Outside the universe, there is a vast expansion of unlimited Brahma Jyoti space full of Vaikuntha Lokas. The biggest and the highest planet in the Brahma Jyoti is Krishna Loka or Goloka Vrindavan, where the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna resides. Lord Sri Krishna never quits this Krishna Loka, where he dwells with his eternal associates, and yet he is omnipresent throughout the complete material and spiritual cosmic situation. This fact has already been explained in Mantra 4 of Sri ISOPANISHAD. The Lord is present everywhere as the sun is. A man can move through the space with the highest possible speed, and still he will find that the sun is there, although the sun is situated in its own undeviating orbit.
All right. So, whatever you do, you still hover over the material realm. That's the point is Prabhupada saying over here. Prabhupada describes the universe, how universe looked like. The biggest and highest planet is the Brahma Jyoti, and the Brahma Jyoti is the Krishna Loka. So, in other words, in the last two paragraphs which Krishna Chandrapur just read, material universe to the spiritual world in summary has been described by Prabhupada. How it looks like the 14 Bhuvana, and then how the spiritual world looks like, which is Brahma Jyoti. And in that, the highest planet is Krishna Loka, like that. And nobody can approach that place on their own endeavors. All right. Now the moon landing comes. Please read the next paragraph. Go ahead.
The problem of life cannot be solved by going to the moon. There are many pseudo worshippers who become religionists for the sake of name and fame only. Such pseudo religionists do not wish to get out of this universe and reach the spiritual sky. They want only to maintain the status quo in the material world under the grab of worshipping the Lord. And the atheists and the impersonalists lead such foolish pseudo-religionists into the darkest regions by preaching the cult of atheism. The atheist directly denies the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the impersonalist supports the atheist by preaching the impersonal existence of the Supreme Lord. As far as we have gone through Sri ISOPANISHAD, we have not come across any mantra where the personality of Godhead is denied. It is said that he can run faster than anyone. Those who are running after the planets are certainly persons, and if the Lord can run faster than all of them, why should he be considered impersonal? The impersonal conception of the Supreme Lord is another phase of ignorance due to an imperfect vision of the absolute truth.
Please read the next paragraph and we'll pause after that.
And so the ignorant pseudo-religionists, the manufacturers of so-called incarnations, directly violating the Vedic injunctions, are liable to enter into the darkest region of the universe on account of their business of misleading those who follow them. These impersonalists generally pose themselves as incarnations of God to the foolish who have no knowledge of the Vedic wisdom. And if such foolish men have any knowledge at all, it is more dangerous in their hands than ignorance itself. Such impersonalists do not even worship the demigods as is recommended in the scriptures.
Very, very profound purport. Many, many things Prabhupada is highlighting. We've had an elaborate discussion on this particular purport while our ISOPANISHAD classes. That's not our approach here. We're just doing some brainstorming here. So let's do the brainstorming here. Let me ask a question to all of you here. I mean, even the Mayavadis, they go beyond the material realm. They approach the Brahman. Why are they criticized still? Why are they criticized? They're being criticized here. They're not entering into the darkest regions of ignorance. They're going beyond it. They live a life of Sattva-guna, not mode of ignorance. Why are they being criticized like this? So one thing is clear. It's not that they are going to any hellish situation. They may find moksha also, but that has been criticized here. Any thoughts? What is it? Yes.
Because they.
ऑनलाइन जनता का क्या है?
Because by their mental speculation, they comment on the existence of God, that Lord does not exist.
So they are committing an aparadh. So for that, they deserve punishment.
And
they may live a life in Sattva-guna and whatnot, but their envy would degrade them. Okay, fine.
And that too from their mental speculation without.
That's okay. We all are speculating unless we, it takes a lot of training to get our mental speculations. Not that we have stopped speculating. So it's not, we have just started practicing.
But at least we have someone to correct us.
But we should accept correction also, na? So correction is okay.
That's an individual's part, but I'm.
Okay. But no, these are Mayavadi tendencies within us also. Have we stopped speculating? If we are corrected, are we willing to accept correction? And for how long? Because right now we have joined, so maybe we can. After 5 years, would I? These are Mayavadi tendencies. This time out. Okay. All right, next.
So, Prabhuji, by their mental speculation, they are also influeing the masses of people.
That's the point. That's the point. You are, that's what Prabhupada said. You have to speak on Bhagavad Gita. You speak what Bhagavad Gita says. If you want to speak your philosophy, write your own book. Write my Guru Gita. Why you use Bhagavad Gita and spread, wrong education? Krishna never said like this. Krishna very clearly says, Man mana bhavamad bhakto mate adhimanaskuru. Krishna is standing on the chariot where Brahman is speaking to Arjuna. That was the point. So the point here is why they criticize like this and why Prabhupada is heavy on them is because of their foolish endeavor. They use the words of Krishna misinterpreted. It's something like, for example, think about it. Think in your own personal example case. Imagine you are saying something very important, very crucial to some well-wisher of yours or somebody for whom you care. There is a third party who is snooping on you. He hears your conversation and usko tor marod kar, he on your behalf tells that information or the thing to your another well-wisher or to another person who you care for. Would you be upset or no? Yeah, I said, this is how you're supposed to live life. But he made something out of it who is not even part of the conversation. Bhagavad Gita was not spoken to Mayavadis, was spoken to Arjuna. Arjuna was a devotee of the Lord. You're an outsider. You snoop on the conversation. Now you give your own interpretation. And you go and tell to those who are Ansha of Krishna. Go ahead and start your institutions and you speak big lectures on the mic and you're spreading this kind of wrong information. They deserve punishment. Another thing, because their goal is so boring. Their goal is so boring and their practice is so boring. These are the people who make our spiritual life disinterested for masses. Why? Because if you take to their practice, you have to be sannyasi. You have to do this, you cannot eat this, you cannot do that. Of course, we also have, but we are not restraining our senses. We're enjoying Krishna Prasad. We're dancing, we are singing. They can't do that only. Not allowed only, impossible. That's what happened to Prakashananda Saraswati, right? At Varanasi. That's what it is. And they saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing. Hey, what is this? You have taken initiation in our parampara, sannyas initiation. Why are you dancing like a sentiment? You should sit and read Vedas. So they make the whole thing practice disinterested. In other words, if you see among everything that Prabhupada gave, one of the gifts that Prabhupada gave to this world was Prabhupada made spiritual life attractive. Prabhupada made spiritual life attractive. Not only that he gave books, not only he gave lectures, not only he gave Sangha association, he made spiritual life attractive. Attractive kirtans, attractive deities, attractive and delicious prasadam. Prabhupada thought of all the facilities. Where was it before? Like this. And they make it. And on top of it, if this is not all, our goal is so attractive. Brahma Samhita says, every step is a dance. Every word spoken in the spiritual world is a song. Our goal is so attractive. And in Mayavad, kya tapasya yaar? It's so damn boring now. And then they say, okay, at the end of life, you merge into. I was reading Buddhist philosophy several years ago. I got frightened. Seriously telling you, मैं डर गया उनका पढ़ के. मैंने कहा इनका गोल तो बड़ा खतरनाक है. It's a mix of Shunyavad, current understanding of Buddhism. I'm not reading. I was reading, someone's book, a monk's book. So the current Buddhism is a mix of this Mayavad and Shunyavad. When I die, I merge into nothing. What's next? Nothing. So they make the destination also so boring. That's the point for which they are criticized again. But yeah, you have destroyed everything. All right. So, okay, we'll pause here. We'll take this discussion forward. We'll meet probably, not sure this week, maybe next week. We'll take a look. But before we pause on it, just want to have a quick reflection. Prabhupada says, the first line of this paragraph, the problem of life cannot be solved by going to the moon. What is your reflection? the problem of life cannot be solved by going to the moon. Since Chandrayaan mission has happened, there are many articles and things are floating. I don't know, it is still such a subject matter as it was back in 1960s, where people were having their faith being checked in the Vedic scriptures. I don't think so that's an issue today. It could be an issue for some, those who are really in the beginning stages. Oh, it is said Chandrama is a heavenly planet. Nobody came to welcome our Chandrayaan 3. Our rover should have been given a red carpet welcome. Messenger came from India, isn't it? Nobody was there. So that's out of question. I'm not talking about that. Okay. So when Prabhupada says the problem cannot be solved by going to the moon, I guess I'll stop the online thing, then we'll discuss. So you can openly discuss. I want to ask all of you, when you read this statement, as a devotee, how would you comment? Or what is your mind saying about the Chandrayaan 3? Okay? We want to hear. And we're going to bring some right perspective into when you're living in the world, how to look at the things. Okay? I'll stop the online thing. I don't want this to go on recording. And thank you all for those who would watch online later on or those who are watching. We're concluding the online stream. We'll have it only on the Zoom.